That's crazy, man. Ladies and gents, welcome to the Rev Check. Today's car is one of the fastest SUVs out there, the new Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT. Let's check it out.
As the name suggests, this Cayenne is the new top-of-the-line version when it comes to specs.
Let's talk about the technical data, because I guess this is what you've all been waiting for. 640 horsepower generated by a 4-liter V8 bi-turbo engine propels the car from 0 to 100 in 3.3 seconds. That's just crazy. This Cayenne is the first Cayenne model ever to reach the top speed of 300 kilometers an hour. Still, that does not make it the fastest SUV out there. That title is still claimed by the Bentley Bentayga Speed. So let's talk about the general driving impression. First of all, like you would expect it in a Porsche, it's very silent in here, and it also features a decent ride comfort. I mean, the streets are quite good here, they look quite new, but if there is a bump every once in a while, the car will just smooth it away. So of course, when they built this car, they were looking for sportiness, but they didn't forget about everyday practicability, so that's pretty nice. So how will you be able to tell if a Cayenne is a Turbo GT version? First of all, you've got the darkened headlights, then you've got a bigger air intake and a spoiler lip down here. Then other features are the widened and black fenders and the carbon type mirrors, as well as the carbon roof. And at the rear you will find a rear spoiler with carbon side flaps. Looks pretty cool if you ask me. And at the rear, of course, the 2-pipe titanium exhaust system. But of course, you can't experience such drive specs to the max on public roads, and that's why we're driving to a racetrack right now. So, since I'm just a regular everyday driver, I got myself some professional help. That's Walter Röhrl, and he is a former race driver, a very successful one. Walter, I guess we will be able to take the car for a spin on the racetrack?
Absolutely.
Very nice. So I'd say let's go.
Let's go.
Walter's career started in 1968 in the Bavaria Rally.
So Walter, you've been with Porsche for quite a long time and also in the development of cars. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm nearly 29 years with Porsche. I was a rally and race driver. On the beginning, I was always trying to make a car as fast as possible. But of course, very soon I have learned that I don't develop cars for race drivers. I develop cars for normal people. And in this case, the most important thing is the car must be easy and safe to handle. The suspension, the tires have so much improved that this car is now very easy and fast to drive for every normal people on the road.
Now, talking about cars on the road, nowadays everybody is talking about electric cars, hybrid cars, saving the environment, and then Porsche brings a car like this.
Yeah, of course, I heard this discussion, but I always tell these people that first of all, this car has so much improved, and the consumption of this car on normal use is not more than on a normal limousine. you can drive this car if on an open road with 10 liters. This is no problem. And if you look to an electric car, the production of the batteries makes so much emission that you can use a normal aspirated petrol engine for minimum 100,000 kilometers, that you are on the same level like this electric car, which is just leaving the shop.
Of course, there are quite a lot of people out there that will buy a Porsche, and then I would also imagine that some of these will take their car to a racetrack. What would you tell those people?
The most important thing is to explain them that he can use now the whole road. On the open road, it's just half is his room for driving, but here he can use the complete road, and that is so important. If you steer less, you have less consumption of tires. It's safer on driving.
So that was our ride on the racetrack with Walter Röhrl. Walter, thank you very much. And maybe I will have the opportunity to drive the car myself later today.
You should do it anyway, because if you drive by yourself, you get more feeling about the car.
But first, Walter will give it one last hot lap. And then it's finally time for our car tester to take the car out on the racetrack.
Yeah, Walter was right. This is so much fun to drive. I mean, he told me use the whole road, but it sounded easier than it actually is. So for me, I also tend to steer too much. I guess that's, if I do it more regularly, then I guess it would be better. This car is so much fun. I mean, I step on the gas. Do you hear that? That's crazy, man. And it also forgives. I mean, I was a little late on the brake there. This is what Walter said. This car is developed for people that usually drive on roads, like you and me. And even though I am not a professional race driver, the car feels safe. 150, 170, you're so fast getting to 200 with that car, and then you can go to 300. Of course, we can't do that on this racetrack because the straight part is not long enough for that, but the acceleration as it is so much fun, and that's enough. You don't need to drive 300 kilometers an hour. If you can go from 0 to 100 in 3.3 seconds and to 212.2, so that's simply amazing. And the sound, crazy. You won't get that with an e-car. Some of you might remember this is the original Cayenne from 2002, and back then people were like, oh my god, Porsche is done. They're building SUVs, that's it, they can close their business, it's over. And those people were wrong. The Cayenne was a very well-selling model, and it still is today. You can tell this car is not only made for fun, but it's also made to beat records. And it already has. Race driver Lars Kern took the car for a spin on the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and there he set a new record.
It's always a challenge doing a lap record at the Nordschleife, because especially setup-wise and I mean driving-wise for sure, but setup-wise it's always a big compromise for doing a lap record with a street car, because I mean at the end the car has to have good comfort out of on the streets as well.
My final verdict on the new Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT, this is a fun machine. I mean, it's crazy how fast you can go in this car, even in curves, even though it's an SUV, and it's just crazy. You have so much fun driving it, and the sound, spectacular. But one thing is clear, this car is simply unreasonable. Especially in nowadays times where everybody's talking about hybrid cars, electrification and so on, saving fuel, and then Porsche brings out a car like this. It's simply crazy. But then again, a car like that with an entry-level price of more than 196,000 euros is definitely not made for everyone. They will not sell a lot of these, so I guess they can afford to build a car that is simply made for fun.
To sum it up, you get a very comfortable, luxurious SUV with insane driving specs and a very sporty appearance. On the downside, you'll have to pay a crazy amount of money to own one, and the gas station attendant will be your new best friend.